Hello and welcome to the fourth round of the Dutch Supercar Challenge at the circuit of Assen in Holland. All four divisions are present and this is their third championship round. And we'll kick off with Saturday's race of the GT and Super Sport 1. A big surprise to everybody, pole position for the Mosler MT 900R of Niels Bauhaus and Milko Tas. They had bad luck in all four races so far. Punctures and a massive fire in Donington. Seems to be very depressing for the team, but team manager Peter Dubois keeps up a positive attitude. Yeah, we've never given up and we're still positive towards this car. It's something that we've learned in the last couple of years. You have to turn a negative situation into a positive outcome. If you stay negative, everything will go worse. It's part of racing and it motivates you to keep improving the car and the people around you. Like somebody mentioned last week, in racing you get knocked down, but you have to get up and go on. And that's our drive. Car World Motorsport is a great team, says Milko Tas, one of the drivers. We're very closely connected to the team and we see how hard they work, how much time it takes and how much money they invest to keep the car running and keep improving it. Each time there's a huge improvement. Finally everything is looking good. It's still an ongoing progress, but with pole position it's clear that we can go for the lead in this race. Niels Bauhaus. Yeah, we can benefit from starting on the first row. We hope that we can create a gap towards the others and have a race on our own. This way we can stay out of trouble, save the tires and show potential of the car. Milko Tas will take over the car during the pit stops and hopefully will finish the race in first place. Second place overall for Dave Basu in the Corvette C6R GT1. Bad luck at Donington, ending up in the gravel trap. But it looks like he's going to be very competitive at the circuit of Assen. But anyway, the competition is killing. Yeah, the field is very competitive in general. If you look at the top 5, it's all within a few tenths of a second from each other. It's going to be very hard to keep up in front, so it's going to be an interesting race. Third in GTs and overall the Audi R8 LMS GT3, Ardy van der Hoek and Robert de Graaf. It's the first outing for Robert de Graaf, the former driver of the E-Tech Viper. Yeah, it's great to be back, he says. The weather is lovely and I know this track very well. So these are perfect conditions for my first encounter with the Audi R8. I did the first few laps yesterday and I still have to learn. But the car is great to drive. It's not like the Viper, which is more like a ship with a lot of power. Well, the Audi is more nimble and requires more precise steering. And you have to keep up good pace through the corners. So it's time to go racing. We're on board with Diederik Seithoff, starting from 5th place on the grid. In front of us is Rikke Bresch and there is Robert de Graaf and Ardy van der Hoek in the Audi. We just talked to him. Pole position, Niels Bauhaus. Dave Basu in the black and white Corvette in 2nd position. Everybody. Oh, a bit of a nudge there from Rikke Bresch on the Audi. And a good start from Rikke Bresch, but he holds back. Lights are off. And we're away. Niels Bauhaus with a great start in the Mosler. And Robert de Graaf barely hangs on to his 3rd place going into the first corner. No, he doesn't, because it's the Ferrari in 3rd. Whoa, somebody spinning there. Looks like Errol Ertan in the Porsche, the multicolored Porsche GT Cup. And a bit of a puff of smoke from the Viper. And Rikke Bresch is dropping back in the Corvette, the yellow and black Corvette. We're on board with Wolf Nathan in the Porsche, one of the silhouette cars in front of us. Oh, piece of a slouch. He spins the Mosler and a narrow escape for Wolf Nathan. And Belgian driver Glorieux, Jean Glorieux, who managed to avoid the spinning Mosler. And it's Diederik Seithoff. We saw him earlier with a puff of smoke. Something is wrong and he takes the escape road. And that will cost him dearly because you are not allowed to do that. It might be very clever, but it's not allowed, so that lap was taken away. And that was a little nudge there from Rikke Bresch. Both cars have to come in for flat tires. There's the Porsche coming in on the rim. He started second in Supersport 1, but lost his second place, obviously. And you saw Rick Bresch going out from the pits on new tyres as well. So let's take a look at number 1. Still, Niels Bauhaus in second place, Dave Basu in third place, Henk Thuis in the Ferrari. And that's a nice fight there for fourth. Alex van 't Hoff in the Mosler trying to outbrake the Audi. A difficult task, but he manages to keep the Mosler in front of the Audi R8. But how long? That's the question. Robert de Graaf looking for a way to counter this attack. Holding on to the back of the Mosler. There he goes on the inside. Ooh, a bit of a nudge there, maybe. Looks like there's some of the momentum of the Mosler is gone. That's Roger Gauls, and he goes straight on. Problems for the Mosler, Alex van 't Hoff. Anyway, Roger Gauls on the outside of the Audi, and he manages to keep his nose in front. And that's for fourth place. Alex van 't Hoff coming in with an obvious cooling problem. Getting out of the car. Yeah, engine overheated. Gearbox had the same problem according to the warning lights. So it's best to stop the car before everything breaks down. It was going great. I was in fifth place and I even managed to take fourth. But it was all for nothing. So back in the race. Fight for sixth place. Jan Versluis, and ooh, a nice move there by René Snel. Heading towards a double right-hander. That's Dick Rudnansky in the Praha R4. The Czech team doing very well in the Dutch Supercar Challenge. And he takes seventh place off of Jan Versluis in the Ferrari. This is the leader in the Supersport 1 division. Bert van der Zwit in the Silhouette BMW E92 in second place. A nice fight there. Well, you can't say second place basically because they're all fighting for second place. Like on a string, these four cars fighting head to toe for each millimeter of asphalt, of tarmac. Wolf Nathan trying on the inside. No way, Jackie van der Ende smashes the door in his face. Ramshoek, fastest corner on the circuit, going down to the chicane, the GT chicane. Whoa, Barry Marson loses 2 places there in one go. Big mistake, accelerating out of the slow chicane. Going and heading for the first corner again. Slowest part of the track. Bit of a wind down here. And then the carousel, Jackie van der Ende there in third place in Supersport 1. Henk Thuis. Roger Grauwels in the Corvette. And behind them is Artie van der Hoek. That's a fight for third place. Henk Thuis under braking, coming out of Ramshoek and going into the chicane. Roger Grauwels showing his nose a little bit. At least he's widescreen in the wing mirrors of the Ferrari. That's all yellow there. Oh, and that's Robert de Graaf trying, but horribly getting it wrong. And now he's in the gravel trap, and he's not going to escape from there. Yeah, what can I say? Everything was going great. Near the end of my stint, I was trying to overtake 2 cars. The Corvette of Roger Grauwels and the Ferrari of Henk Thuis. I took the best line for the first corner of the track to overtake Grauwels on the right, and suddenly he steered to the right to block my move. I had to avoid a collision, which made the car spin, and I ended up in the gravel trap. It's a shame. Everything was going perfect up till that point. Luckily, I was pulled out of the gravel trap and we're still in the race, but we've lost a lot of time, obviously. And there they are in the pits, trying to remove all the gravel. Artie van der Hoek taking over. Alas, for them it was to no avail because last place was all they could manage after that incident. Oh, that's Henk Thuis spinning after trying to overtake one of the Porsches. And he lost third place there. And that's Dirk Schultz in the yellow Porsche. Ooh, something goes wrong. He gets on the curb and ends up, well, not nearly in the guardrail. Things are not going at all well for the reigning champions, Rob Frans and Charlie Frans. Rob Frans here, having to coast the car home with a flat tyre. His son Charlie waiting to take over. Started from pole position, but we haven't heard from him since, and they've dropped back a lot. Oh, that's the leader, Niels Bauhaus, again. This is just a lot of bad luck. Yeah, the last 3 laps I already had problems with fuel pickup. After the pit stops we dropped out with a broken fuel pump, and that's where the car is now, in the pit. I have to say, with all due respect, it looks to be a Monday morning Mosler. It just refuses to get up and go to work. Anyway, back in the race, Bert van der Zweerde leading Supersport 1 and leading the GTs, Dave Basu in the black and white ex-Sellerslag Racing Corvette. Oh, look at these two fighting for 4th place. Henk Thuis in front of the Slovak driver Dick Kwiatkowski. And whoa, and that's Henk Thuis. He's stationary. What happened there? Maybe a repeat will tell us from the car of Dick Kwiatkowski. On the inside there, Henk Thuis. Walk! Ah, there's contact. Both cars damaged. And I can tell you now that both cars didn't finish. So, fight for 3rd place. Jan Versluis and Peter Versluis. Peter Versluis in the Mosler, and he takes 3rd place. These two are brothers. They like each other when they're off track, but on the track they fight hammer and tongs. Peter Versluis rented this car from Martin Short, the Mosler aficionado. Anyway, he's doing all right. Coming out of the slower corners there on the track, accelerating out. Whoa, and it's over. Just when I said he's doing all right, he wasn't. Anyway, a great win for Dave Basu in the Corvette. And of course, he was a happy chappy. It was a hard race. The tyres were wearing down pretty quickly due to the heat. I had to adjust the brake balance all the time, and I made a mistake and spun the car. Still managed to keep 1st place. I'm very happy. So in 2nd place, Roger Gauwels and Jan Versluis in 3rd. Diederik Seithoff in the Viper ends up in 4th, despite the fact that they took away a whole lap. Ricker Bresch in 5th and Ron Marshall and Jean Glorieux in 6th. Diederik Seithoff still hanging on to the championship lead. Dave Basu is getting closer in 2nd place and Jan Versluis in 3rd. Supersport 1. Leader is Bert van der Zweerde. He wins the race. And Bert says it's a fantastic result after all the bad luck we've had during qualifying yesterday. Team worked very hard. First lap was phenomenal. I started 6th and overtook the whole Supersport 1 field in half a lap. I promised to take it easy, but the car was just so great. Anywho, in 2nd place, Nelson van der Poel in Mondeo and Jackie van den Ende in a Mondeo as well in 3rd. Wolf Nathan ends up in 6th place but takes points for the championship, and with that he manages to hold on to 3rd place. Jackie van den Ende in 2nd and Bert van der Zweerde still in the lead with 20 points. And with that, it's time for us to take the first break in this program. We'll be right back with the first race of Supersport 2 and Sports Division.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keane, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, It's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
Well, Greg Creamer, GoRacingTV.com has done it again. They've come up with reruns of the Viper Racing series, which you and I are kind of interested in.
Very interested in it, folks. If you haven't seen this, tune in, because that racing is absolutely spectacular. These special spec cars that they've come up with, the performance level of these things, Tom, has been spectacular. The racing close, celebrity guest drivers of sorts that get in the mix and have some fun. And what it's actually turned into is an incredibly exciting series. In its debut year, you can revisit it right here at GoRacingTV.com.
And about the fifth best thing about the series is that Greg and I host it. We'll see you on GoRacingTV.com coming up this season.
Way down the list.
Way down the list.
And welcome back. You're watching the Dutch Supercar Challenge Race 1 of Supersport 2 and Sports Division. Starting from pole position, Marco Poland in the BMW. And it's Andre de Vries who put in there. Pieter van Zoelen in second place. Koen Bogaerts, Mark van der Hagen in the 132 GTR in third place. Robin and Ferry Monster in the Seat Leon in fourth place. Then Jan van der Kooi in the Lotus Exige. Bob Herber and Laurens Meyer in the Seeker. And with Nick Aerts, we're coming on to the start-finish straight, waiting for the lights to go out. Pole position, Marco Poland. Is he able to take advantage from his pole position? Yes, he can, but it's Pieter van Zoelen who's on his tail. And Mark van der as well. Van der is on the inside of the corner, the first corner, going into the slower part of the circuit. And he takes second place from Pieter van Zoelen. Great driving by Mark van der in the BMW 132 GTR. In Sports Division, things are not going well, and things are definitely not going well for Pieter van Zoelen and Jan van der Kooi. What happened there? Well, we're on board with Ferry Monster. Jan van der Kooi in the Lotus. Oh, what was that? Jan van der Kooi says, I was on the outside overtaking Pieter van Zoelen, which is no problem with this car. Van Zoelen lost control and bluntly torpedoed me off the track. A lot of damage. Van Zoelen replies, I turned into the first corner. I already had some problems with keeping the car on the track. I guess the tires weren't warmed up properly. At the next corner I was behind Mark van der and everything went wrong. The car oversteered and snapped the other way, hitting the car of Jan van der Kooi. People are very upset with me, but there wasn't much I could do about it. These things happen. Other things happening on the track. Mark van der and Luc de Kock in the 211 on the outside, taking 5th place. Very neatly. Well done. Good fight there for 5th place, because the Mondeo's trying to come back. Seeker's also there. That's the Belgian Seeker. Oh, and Marcel Norbert. What are you trying there? Turning into the slow corner. That's one of his favourites. Marcel Norbert in the Seat. Now the Seeker has passed the 211, so I think there might be a problem. Yes, I'm quite sure there is a problem with Luc de Kock in the 211. Marcel Norbert passes him as well. And there he is in the pits with a broken drive shaft. Repairs being done. Trying to get the car back on the road. Mark van der. Behind him, Ferry Monster. Fight for first place. A bit of oversteer there. And there's the Seat. Seat very strong in the corners. BMW very fast on the straight. And it's the BMW who wins this one. Fantastic sound of the BMW. Air intake screaming away. Oh, another Seat in trouble. Christian Dijkhoff, his race has ended prematurely. Now that's Peter Klaassen in another BMW leading the sports division in second place. Another BMW E36 this time. That's Richard van der Bos and the Lotus Exige of Art Bosman. That's 1, 2 and 3 in sports. So we're nearing the pit stop window, a mandatory pit stop between the 25th and 35th minute of the race. Everybody coming in, and it looks like Bosman is getting out first. In second place should be Bert van der Zweerde. Yep. And that's Eric van der Munkhoff in the Ford Focus Silhouette. He was in third place, but something went terribly wrong. Yeah, it's a shame this happened, he says. Pit stop was great, and just 3 laps out, the uniball of my suspension on the right side broke off clean. And this means the end of the race. Too bad for him. Fights going on the track. For 5th place, Nick Aerts in the Mondeo. The Nissan behind him takes advantage as Nick Aerts is out of the race. Well, it didn't go according to plan, he says. Near the end of the race, my engine started to sound strange. I managed to reach the pit lane, but this also meant that the engine was completely ruined. So I have to start from the back of the grid if I can find an engine. Anyway, Wim Juris and Ronald Vetters in the Seeker GT new style. Very nice car, very nice looking car. Now in 5th place. In the Supersport 2 division, the leaders are Robin and Ferry Monster. Robin driving the car now, and this is the fight for 2nd place. André de Vries is now in the car of Marco Poland. That's the black E46 BMW. And look at him go. Koen Bogaerts has no chance. He's a sitting duck. But he's trying everything to keep this black menace behind him. Oh, Bob Herbert there, getting in between the fight of these two. Oh, André de Vries, what are you doing there? That might have worked. He's on the inside now, going into the slower corner. 2nd place, André de Vries. Now look, let's take a look at that again. This is a guy who knows the track. Is this allowed? Yes, because there are no white lines. You have to stay within the white lines. There are no white lines, no pawns whatsoever, so he can do this. Very brave action there, but it was all for naught, because there is Koen Bogaerts with a mechanical problem. After the pit stops, we were in 6th position. Together with André de Vries, I could move forward through the field up to 2nd place. When I overtook the Seeker, he did a great move on the inside, and I dropped back to 3rd place. And 3-4 laps before the finish, I had a massive engine blow up and a lot of smoke, and this sucks big time, but it's part of racing as well. Now it looks to be not a good weekend for JR Motorsport. Peter van Zoelen out. These guys doing well until now. Bert van der Zweerde coming in. Something seems to be wrong here as well. Race is over. And that means Aert Bosman is doing well. He's now in 2nd place with the Lotus Exige. Robin Monster leading in Supersport. And there's a checkered flag coming up. Last yards to go. And he wins it. Great race by Robin and Ferry Monster. Winning Supersport 2. Marco Poland and André de Vries in 2nd place. And in 3rd, Bob Herbert and Laurens Meijer. Marcel Nolbert ends up in 6th place, and that's good for the championship. Marcel Nolbert now shares 3rd place with Luc de Kock from Belgium. Koen Bogaerts and Mark van der Aa in 2nd place, no points for them. And Robin and Ferry Monster still lead. In the sports division, great win by John van der Voort and Peter Klaassen. In 2nd place is Aert Bosman in the Lotus Exige, and the two brothers Peter and Nico van Vliet in 3rd. Championship, Aert Bosman leads with 89 points. Guillaume Schultz takes 2nd place, just in front of Richard van der Bos and Bert van der Zweerde. Up next, the very spectacular races on Sunday. The weather is very bad and the racing is good.
Racing TV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Dutch Supercar Challenge on the Super League Formula Weekend at the TT Circuit in Assen. New concept, each car is representing a country for the Super League Formula. V12 Formula cars in the next round of this very spectacular championship will be at the circuit of Zolder on the 16th and 17th of July. But we're here, of course, for the Dutch Supercar Challenge, which is, by the way, the biggest GT and touring car series in the Netherlands and probably in Europe as well. The different car makes compete against each other in 1-hour races. The front-wheel drive Seat leads the championship. The English Lotus is still competing for the title with the Lotus Exige and the 211. The Dutch-built Seeker is a fierce competitor. And of course the French are there as well, with the Renault going very strong in the sports division. What it all comes down to is beating the big bad German BMW. We continue with Sunday's race for the Supersport 2 in the sports division. Pole position for Supersport 2 championship leaders Robin and Ferry Monster. And they start in the Seat Leon Supercopa. They're just 9 points ahead of the BMW of Mark van der Haan and Koen Boogaard. Ferry Monster is starting the race. That's Marco Poland. He's driving together with André de Vries. That's John van der Voort in the Patsa East pole position in the sports division. Starting ahead of championship leader Art Bosman. He's in second place. A lot of championship regulars starting from the back of the grid, like Koen Boogaard. He will start the race in the T-car. Not a bad car indeed, because this car is the car that won the 24 Hours of Dubai. And watch the back of the grid, because two cars will be starting there that don't really like each other. Jan van der Kooi in the Lotus Exige GT3, that's the orange car, and Peter van Zoelen in the black, white and green BMW 3 Series GTR. So, time to go racing. We're on board with Marcel Norbert. He starts from 7th place and he's just behind John van der Voort, pole position in the sports division. We're waiting for the lights to go out and then they're off, and we're on board with Marcel Norbert, and he goes, he squeezes through where there's no room whatsoever between him, John van der Voort and the wall. He's in 5th place now. Marcel Norbert, what a great start. Something happening there between the two Seekers and the Seat as well. But anyway, it's Marco Poland leading in 2nd place. Ferry Monster in the Seat. Art Bosman has overtaken John van der Voort. He's now leading sports division. We're on board with Jan van der Kooi. Remember, he started from the back of the grid together with Peter van Zoelen, starting all the way from the back of the grid in 32nd place. Already found a place to overtake him. Ooh, look, the car in front of him. Peter van Zoelen as well. He's going like a hot knife through butter. And that's Koen Boogaard on the inside there. Koen Boogaard, the black BMW, full on the brakes. Jan van der Kooi takes the room that was there for a second. Braking for the corner on the inside. Now he has to keep the Lotus there. Nico Bain closing the gap. Oh, brilliant driving by Jan van der Kooi. Jan van der Kooi, the GT3 Lotus Exige. Roland van Loon there in the BMW. Well, he's not going anywhere. Oh, fantastic driving by Jan van der Kooi. But we're back with the leaders. Marco Poland in the black BMW. Ferry Monster in the Seat. And he's a very, very monster because he's trying on the inside. Now the fastest part of the track, Ramshoek. Oh, going very wide there, Marco Poland. He's learned a lot, but not enough to keep Ferry Monster behind him. It's an inevitability that he's going to pass him. Coming out of the slipstream, maybe braking for the first corner after the straight. No, he's still behind him. Let's take a look at the sports division. It looks like it's Art Bosman all the way there. Marcel Norbert trying to pass Wim Juris in the Seeker. That's his favourite spot there, coming out of the slow corner. Anyway, Marco Poland, is he or is he not able to keep the Seat behind him? Take a look at Luc de Kock. Oh, had a bit of a coming together with Leon Zappai there in the BMW. And again, he's in the pits. Something seems to be broken. Steering rod, maybe. Anyway, they managed to repair the 211 and he's back on the road with Art Bosman, who's lost the lead to John van der Voort. And he nudges him. And John van der Voort is out of the way. Well, it's a racing incident. I'm sure he didn't mean to do it, but the result is the same. Art Bosman, drive-through penalty. Clark at the course, not very happy with his driving there. And we're on board with Jan van der Kooi. Marcel Norbert in the Seat smashes the door in his face. They nudge each other. A little love tap. Nothing wrong there. Fight for third place. Accelerating out. Oh, it looks like there's a bit of momentum loss there with the Seat. And Jan van der Kooi takes third place. Yes, he does. Marcel Norbert, is he going to take this lying down? I don't think so. Is the Peter van Zullen now in fifth place, overtaking the Seeker. Remember, he also started the back of the grid together with Jan van der Kooi. Van der Kooi has passed him. These two fighting very hard for the championship. Ferry Monster behind Marco Poland, and this time he does it. This time he does it. The Seat is so good in the corners. Marco Poland trying to come back. He has only one mission: stay ahead, as far ahead as possible. This time he has to let Ferry Monster go. We're on board with Marcel Norbert, fight for third place. Jan van der Kooi, Norbert on the inside. Peter van Zullen as well. Van Zullen trying to overtake Marcel Norbert. These two are no friends. Van Zullen in fourth place now, but Marcel Norbert is coming back. And his favourite overtaking place is coming up. There it is. He retakes fourth place. Tries to block Peter van Zullen coming out of Strubbe. Accelerating out on the back straight. BMW very fast in the straight line, of course, but the Seat very strong in the corners. That's a classic fight this year, Seat BMW. Bit of a unbalance there with the Seat, and Peter van Zullen takes fourth place. Van Zullen. Is Marcel Norbert coming back again? Is there a counter-attack? No. It's Peter van Zullen trying to get away in a straight line. And this happened as well. Ferry Monster turning into the poor Renault Clio of Errol Ertan and losing first place. He does manage to hold on to second place. These two behind him in third place, Jan van der Kooi and Peter van Zullen. They are going at it all race now. Van Zullen trying everything to pass the Lotus and not succeeding. Marcel Norbert is there as well. And Ferry Monster comes in. Robin Monster is ready to take over. A mandatory pit stop, 25th minute of the race. It looks to be a little bit early. After the pit stop, we spoke with Ferry Monster. Had a great stint. Just before the planned pit stop, I was hit by another car, which I overtook on the outside. I was forced onto the gravel trap, and it cost me the first place. I brought the car in for a checkup, but we were probably a little bit too early, so we will get a drive-through penalty for sure. We are now in third place. We'll see how it goes. And there they are. Indeed, a drive-through penalty. That drops them down to 5th place overall. Jan van der Kooi in 1st place now. Peter van Zoelen behind him. Van der Kooi giving him a very wide berth, taking no chances with Peter van Zoelen. And then it's over. A dramatic exit from Peter van Zoelen. He's on his knees. Anyway, in 1st place in Sports Division, Richard van der Bos and Bert van der Zweerde. In 2nd place, Guillaume Schultz. It's a fight for 2nd place there. And the Van Vliet brothers have no way of keeping that Lotus behind them. John van der Voort, that looks to be for 4th place. And behind him, Eric van Munkhoff. And there's the Supersport 2 fight for 3rd place. Marcel Norbert, the red, white and blue Seat. We're on board with Marcel Norbert and his favourite spot again. There's a Mondeo, and a Mondeo is a little bit heavier than the other cars. So damage for Nick Aerts. His race is over, and Marcel Norbert continues. Robin Monster gets a very big present here because he gains 2 places. He goes from 5th to 3rd. Marcel Norbert ends up in 4th place and Nick Aerts is out. Jan van der Kooi in 1st place. Lotus Exige. There is André de Vries. He's taken over from Marco Poland and he's a very good driver indeed. He knows every inch of the TT circuit here in Assen. He was born here and he wins here. In 2nd place, Jan van der Kooi. He is the moral winner of this race because he started dead last. Yes, he replies, we've accomplished a lot this weekend. Yesterday the car was a total loss, the suspension and a lot more was gone. We've rebuilt everything overnight. Near the end of the race the grip was gone, but I still managed to bring the car home. This is something we can be very proud of. Indeed, a big present for Robin and Ferry Monster, Marcel Norbert in 4th place and Koen Bogaerts in 6th. And that means that Koen and Mark van der Aa hold on to 2nd place. Marcel Norbert is now in 3rd place, but it's still Robin and Ferry Monster leading the pack. In Sports Division, good win for Richard van der Bos and Bert van der Zweerde. Frenchman Guillaume Schultz in 2nd place and Eric van der Munkhoff in 3rd. Art Bosman finishes just outside the podium, but he's still number 1 in the championship. Guillaume Schultz in 2nd place and Van der Bos and Van der Zweerde in 3rd. And that brings us to the last race of this fantastic race weekend at the TT circuit in Assen. Stay put for a lot of action from the GTs.
Hi there, I'm Tom Natchu, and this is Greg Kramer. We're called the old bastards of racing in many circles. You know, I guess we met back in the late 1980s.
Easy. It had to be at least that far back. Glory day of some racing, too.
Oh, absolutely. Trans Am was a part of the picture, and actually I learned to do pro announcing from this man around the Trans Am Championship. Oh, that is a long time ago.
A very long time ago, but I'll tell you what, you take a look at Trans Am racing in the early 90s in particular, the names that were running at that time. But the other side of the story was World Challenge was really starting to come alive at that point. And the names in that, there were sometimes you'd look at the 2 rosters and go, you know, I'm not sure which one is the most talent. Some amazing stuff from those decades past. And of course, a lot of those drivers also doubling up, running amateur racing in the runoffs. And it was spectacular stuff.
Now, GoRacingTV has got all of that action, Trans Am World Challenge, and even some runoff material, all coming up over the next season. That's going to be something to watch.
I know, to be able to relive those 2 decades of motorsports from the Sports Car Club of America's Pro Racing Department, Trans Am World Challenge, and then you include the National Amateur Championships, the runoff, the intense battles that unfolded there. It simply doesn't get any better than that, and it lives again right here on GoRacingTV.com.
Because I need to spend more time in front of my computer.
And welcome back. You're still watching the Dutch Supercar Challenge for the homecoming weekend at the TT circuit in Assen. Last race of this weekend is the GTs. It's the Ferraris that are in third place in the championship. Jan Versluis in the Ferrari 430 GT2, pairing up with the Corvette GT1 of Dave Basu. And the current championship leader, the American Dodge Viper SRT10 of Diederik Seithoff. In the Supersport 1 Championship, the battle is between the Porsche GT3 Cups, the Silhouette Ford V6 cars, and the Silhouette BMW of Bert van der Zweerde, currently leading the championship. It was almost the last race of the day and it had been raining very hard, so everybody's on wets for this race. Starting behind the safety car, so everybody has to stay single file. Dave Basu getting on the throttle very fast, and he's taken a lead. Dave Basu in the black and white Corvette. In the yellow Corvette is Roger Grauwels and Diederik Seithoff in the Viper, and that's Ricker Bresch trying to make up for lost time. He's behind Bert van der Zweerde, leader in the Supersport 1. Bert van der Zweerde, the BMW, Ricker Bresch in the Corvette, the black Corvette number 133. Black and yellow, I should say. We're on board with Ricker Bresch. Jan Versluis in front of us. He's the red Ferrari with the white roof. In fourth place. Well, is he gonna stay there long? Everybody's very careful here. It's very slippery on this TT circuit. It's the last race of the weekend. Lots of debris on the track. And there he goes, Ricker Bresch on the inside. Well, there's not much of braking there. And he overtakes him. Whoa, that's Danny Workman. He's parked his V8 Star in the tyre wall. During the warm-up, I already had problems with a stuck throttle cable. And this resulted in a massive spin on the track. I came in and there was a little bolt that was stuck. Like that. They fixed it and guaranteed that it was okay, so I went out again. Everything seemed to be okay, so I took Ruskenau corner like I do always, shifted to fourth gear, and suddenly the throttle was stuck again. I hit the wall at Steckenwald with 200 kilometers an hour, and this shouldn't have happened. Well, I agree with him. Nobody wants that to happen. Anyway, he was unhurt, and that was very lucky. Peter Versluis started at the back of the grid in the Mosler, the blue with the green stripes. He's fighting for 10th place now. He's behind René Snel, and Martin Sedlak is squeezed out by the Mosler there. Artie van Hoek tries to take advantage, and together with Henk Thuis in the Ferrari, he overtakes the Slovak car. So is René Snel there in 9th place. Peter Versluis in 10th. In 11th is Henk Thuis in the Ferrari. And then it's Artie van der Hoek, but the Slovak is fighting back. Martin Sedlak overtaking the Audi in the slower corners. Now, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a blue car dropping back. That's Jackie van den Ende in the Mondeo. He's going slow there in the background. He was in third place. There he is. Too bad, of course, for the runner-up in the championship. Overtaken by Barry Marson and Daniel Schrijvers. Ron Marshall in the Aston Martin in 6th place. Then it's Peter Versluis. Artie van der Hoek coming strong on the inside of Henk Thuis. Good fight there, although it's still very slippery. Artie, of course, low on power, but good on grip. Fight for 9th place in the race. Henk Thuis now in 10th. And the Slovak car in 11th place. We're on board with Artie van der Hoek in the Audi. Certainly down on power compared to this Porsche of René Snel, but power is nothing when it's wet. And he overtakes him for 8th place. Henk Thuis passes René Snel as well. No, he doesn't, because he goes straight on into the gravel trap. Peter Versluis in 6th place. In 7th place, Ron Marshall in the Aston Martin, flaming about on this track. Artie van der Hoek on the inside. trying to squeeze through, feathering the throttle. And he's through. And there's a dry line, and it's the leader in the race, Bert van der Zweert in the Supersport 1 division, who has the biggest balls. He goes out on slicks. The Silhouette BMW, run by JR Motorsport. Very fast car, of course. Purpose built. But then it goes all wrong. Going into the chicane, he hits the curbstones. And that's all she wrote. And we're just very lucky that Bert got out unhurt. A lot of things go through your mind when this happens, he says. The damage is huge. It all needs to be fixed. It will cost a lot of money. I'm fine though. Everything feels fine. But the car, yeah, that makes me cry a little bit. So, safety car. Pick up the pieces, then with Peter Versluis also on slicks now, and he's on the very slippery curb. It's newly painted for the TT, and he narrowly escapes disaster with the inside wall there. And he escapes unhurt. Let's take a look at that again. It went great. I made a mistake in Ramshoek, the fast left-hander. I hit the curbs with about 225 kilometers an hour, and then on the grass you just accelerate, and luckily it turned around the guardrail. I was very happy and very lucky as well that I survived this unhurt. In the pits is Dave Basu. Lots of things going on there. He overtook the safety car. He is put back one lap. His pit stop was too short, so he gets a drive-through penalty. But when he goes back on the track, he is in front of Diederik Zuidhof in the Viper, and Diederik thinks that he's fighting for the lead. In fact, he already has the lead, so he's on maximum attack. And this is the result. Rikke Bresch finding it very difficult to keep the car on the road, ending up in the gravel trap, losing second place. So Dave Basu comes out. Rikke Bresch is still in there. Let's take a look from the vantage point of Diederik Zuidhof. Ramshoek, nobody ever overtakes on the inside of Ramshoek. Diederik tried it and got it all wrong. Good thing that nobody got hurt in this one. Except maybe that bird that saw a Corvette coming at it in full speed. Anywho, Dave Basu, this is the result of the accident. The side of my car is ruined. I don't know the name of the fast corner in the back, but somebody smashed into my car whilst I was turning in, and that was the end. Let's see it again. From Rikke Bresch's point of view. Well, due to a miscommunication between the team of Dave Basu and Zuidhof, the Viper didn't know he was already leading the race due to a penalty of Dave Basu. Zuidhof pushes him off at the most dangerous place, so I had to go through the grass to avoid an accident and ended up in the gravel trap. Well, better luck next time. The Viper driver is penalized for dangerous driving, and that means that the victory goes to Racing for Slovakia, Dick Widnanski and Martin Sedlak.
Oh, it was quite easy because that car, it's like a dream, you know. It's so easy to drive. I really like it. And the track is so dangerous, I think so. I was really scared in the last corner, but finally I finished on the first place, so I'm so happy.
So, Sedlak winning it in front of Roger Grauwels. A great race. In third, Adi van der Hoek and Robert de Graaf in the Audi. Now let's take a look. Diederik Zuidhof ends up in fourth place and still leads in the championship. Dave Bossou, no points in this one, so he has trouble keeping up with Diederik Seithoff. He's still in second place, and Roger Gauwels in the C5R is in third place. So what happened in Super Sport 1? Well, it was a great fight between the two Porsches. Wolf Nathan here in the Cup, and he's overtaken by René Wijnen. René Wijnen taking the initial win, but later on he would be penalised for overtaking under the safety car. So the win in Super Sport 1 goes to Wolf Nathan. Had a great race. In retrospect, of course, on the podium still René Wijnen and Errol Ertan celebrating the victory. And they make a jump for joy as we look at the standings and the results. Wolf Nathan winning it in front of Errol Ertan and René Wijnen, who were penalised and put 30 seconds back. Niels van der Poel in third place. Bert van der Zwieren leads the championship, but his championship lead has shrunk to 2 points. Ooh, it's getting very exciting in the Dutch Supercar Challenge. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.